Irashaimase. Hello and welcome to Fataris' Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fataris. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this week we have Contra, Operation Galuga, the classic run and gun returned. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. From publisher Konami and developer WayForward, Contra Operation Galuga released in March of 2024 for the PC, the Xbox, the Nintendo Switch, and the PlayStation 4 and 5, which is the version we're looking at today. This title is a reimagining of the original Contra. It basically takes the ideas from the original game and gives it a whole new look, perspective, everything. As far as the way that this game feels, this is definitely one of the best run and guns I've played in a long time. So if you like run and guns, definitely check this one out. However, there are a couple caveats to note there. The price might be a little bit high for the amount of gameplay you get out of it, so maybe wait for a sale. And also, at least based off of the demo, the Nintendo Switch didn't handle this game very smooth, and that's why we're looking at the PlayStation 5 version of it today. With all that said, let's dive into the main menu and talk a little bit about what's here. So we have the story mode where you're going to go through the game with all this story cutscenes interspersed throughout both the beginning and the end of stages, as well as in the stages itself. And if you're looking to get the other playable characters, that's where you'll unlock them, is the story mode. Contra Operation Galuga has a total of 10 playable characters, so if you're looking to unlock the others, you'll find them there. Arcade mode is a more classic run and gun experience where you just play all the stages straight through. There are some challenge modes. Basically, you've got some smaller challenges here to play through, and then perks. So this is one of the new things they added to the game itself, where you can buy these perks to equip when you start a run. For our purposes today, we're going to be showing off the arcade mode in 2-player co-op. It is possible to play all the way up to 4 players, but man, that feels like it would get chaotic. Jumping into arcade, if you had a previous run, you can continue from where you were at in either story or arcade mode, so that's a really nice quality of life feature. Selecting new game, we can select our difficulty. You have easy all the way up to hard, as well as, so there's a couple different options here. You've got a health meter, which is their new option for your life. So we still have lives, but we also have a health meter. Or you can go with the one hit, that's it, bullshit sort of Contra, if you want that more classic experience. There's also some various soundtracks that are available. If you played the demo, you'll have unlocked a soundtrack, and there's also other ones also available. There's a Konami one that you can use the perks to purchase in the shop, and that's not necessarily paid currency, that's just currency you earn through the game itself. There's this Castlevania one, so some great options as far as the music. Now you have your character select. So at this point, we only have the 4 base characters available. You've got Bill, you've got Lance, and then 2 versions of Probotector, which I do really appreciate the inclusion of Probotector. If you've purchased the perks, once you select your character, you can select your perks. So the ones I picked up are some of the ones that were available in the demo, as well as a couple others that I really like. So in this case, I've really liked the weapon retention. If you lose a life or take a hit, you don't lose your weapon. And there's also this really neat auto level up, which will give you a level 2 weapon right off the bat. But just to keep things a little bit simple, I'll go ahead and take the spread shot right off the bat. So the game itself is all 2D as far as your plane of play, but it uses these really great high detailed 3D character models for the look of the game itself. Basically your 2.5D perspective. Your controls are pretty standard for a run and gun. We've got our main shot and we've got a jump, but there's some really nice options added to this particular version of Contra for your mobility. So in addition to our normal jump, we actually have a double jump available to us this time around, and there's also a dash. Once you get to the point where you start unlocking character-specific perks, that dash sometimes will yield separate benefits. Like in the case of Bill, his dash will give him momentary invulnerability should you choose that perk. Another thing that's new to Contra, the weapon system has a level 2 for your weapon. So if you pick up say an S for the first time around and you don't have the perk that gives you level 2s right off the bat, then you'll get that weapon for the first time. Then if you pick up the same weapon again, you unlock level 2 for that weapon, which just gives you a more powerful version. And for some of them, it's really awesome. The Crusher, for example, right here, this is the level 1 where we just see the explosions on it, but should you go and pick up the level 2, then it becomes kind of like this black hole bomb, which is just awesome. So hopefully I'll be able to show that off. There's one other feature that I haven't talked about that is a good place to, well, yeah, it's true, we did go and just lose our SC helicopter, and so the characters do have some like witty things to go and say about that, but one thing I'm a little bit disappointed at is, don't they care about the pilots? Maybe it was like a on autopilot or something like that, or like remotely controlled, but it just felt a little bit cold. So one last thing as far as like systems that it added to, this game adds to the Contra formula is the idea of overload. So if you have level 2 or really even a level 1 weapon and you're willing to sacrifice that weapon, you can, in the case of a PlayStation 5 controller at least, hold down the L2 trigger. You'll burn up your weapon, but you'll get like a powerful effect from it. So in the case of using the machine gun, it gives you a barrier. The spread gun will totally fill the screen with bullets, like this here. Doing a great job of taking out enemies all over the place. Some of them will give you, if you use the homing, it gives you some drones to help take out enemies, and there's also the laser will actually slow down time for a brief moment. It's actually really cool. So those are the basic systems that were added to Contra Operation Galuga. As I was like saying, this one just feels absolutely like great. So as I was like just talking about the Crusher earlier, and now we can go and see the Crusher level 2. It's a black hole bomb that deals like heavy damage, and in addition to that, that black hole will actually suck up enemy shots, actually making it a lot safer to use. Then the homing missile is like really just like great. It's definitely easy mode for this game. This is especially at level 2. It's powerful, and it will deal. It will quickly home in on the enemies and take them out without too much difficulty. One last thing for our movement. Oh, so if you do, let's see, take a shot and you don't have like the perk that retains your weapon health, you will lose like 1 level of the weapon, so that's something to keep in mind. So here we find ourselves at the end of stage 1. So if you've played the original Contra, this will look familiar. It's a base that has like the 2 cannons and a core to take out. Once the core is destroyed, now things get a little interesting. Oh, dang it, I can't get that extra C. So we've got the another wall on the left side, but this one, in addition to having the turrets, also has that laser. But that's not all. Now we've got this wall in the background that kind of is reminiscent of some of the boss after you go through the tunnel in the original game. You've got these turrets, and you've got a core in the center. You do have to be careful of for that laser. And bam. Stage 1 complete. And basically, that's Contra Operation Galuga served up for your enjoyment. Overall, I've really enjoyed my time with it, although it's been relatively short, mainly just going through the arcade a couple times. I do like the fact that we're earning credits to buy additional perks, so you can kind of customize the run to what you like. It actually feels really good to say, alright, I just want to start the run having like every weapon at level 2, or having the spread gun all the time. Like that sort of customization is the kind of thing that can make a game like Contra really enjoyable. But overall, let's talk a little bit about the minus flavors. So the biggest problem that I have with this particular release is I'm not sure that the value will be there for everybody. So if you're like looking to go and play through arcade run, it's going to take you probably around an hour, maybe less. But if you are, the story of course is going to go and be longer, and having the additional characters will add some element of replayability to the game itself. But for the asking price, I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to justify the purchase to most people. And where the game only has 8 stages and is like not necessarily treading a whole lot of new ground, it's like largely, as I said, this is a reimagining of the original Contra. This might not be for everybody from a value standpoint. But as far as the plus flavors are concerned, I think the game looks great, and on more powerful systems it plays pretty well. I can only go and base the Switch performance off of the demo, but overall that one was like wasn't a smooth experience, so do keep that in mind. But the game itself, you have all those unlockable characters, you have the customization of the perks, so that's a huge plus flavors in my mind. In addition to that, you also have the really great control and feel that this particular title brings to the run and gun formula. Like all the different options for mobility, you've got your like double jump, you've got the dashes, just the way that all the controls feel, even like using the fixed firing position. Like this one is truly a masterclass of how a run and gun should feel from a control standpoint. So if you're a fan of Contra and run and guns, then this is a title that I would recommend. Just maybe like wait for a decent sale. Alright, that'll just about wrap it up for this week's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. As always, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.